Welcome to Trading Lounge and the Asian indices, and starting with the ASX 200 here. Well, as you know, we've been working through quite a series of complicated wave 4 corrections, and it does appear now that we're pretty close to, well, I feel that we've completed the correction. And what I'm really looking for now, I know the market's trading above this 6,300, which is the top of minor group 1, 100, 200 and 300 or 6,000. So it's really critical that this finds support here, because if this gets support here, then it sets the target for the next Fibonacci level, which is 6,500 here in terms of the trading level. So as we can see that it has traded above it quite a few times, but every time it's come back and retested it, it's failed. Okay, so yeah, that's what we're sort of looking for, and that's what I want to go in and talk about today here. So there's a couple of different ways to view this particular correction, but I'm going to put this wave E and wave 4 here. So we've got a Elliott wave correction of an A wave, a B wave, a C wave, a D wave, and an A and a B and a C here for the E wave. There's another way to count this too, by having wave D up here as well. I'm not too concerned about it, but what I am interested in is this particular move coming off this low here. I know that on these markets we can count this as 5 waves up here, but on the cash market it doesn't count as 5 waves, it counts as 3 waves. So I would like to just leave it, and we'll just work from this particular low here. And let's just go into the hourly chart and have a little bit of a look at its pattern here. So if we're going to move up, this is pretty much how it's going to pan out. So we've got a little wave 1 and 2 in here, and then we need to look at all of this as the third wave, and we'll go into the tick chart in a moment and have a look at that. But I can draw on this part of the chart here, so it can sort of lay it out a bit. So what we're looking for is the first 5 wave structure to the upside here, and then an ABC correction, and then a move up from there. I've sort of drawn this out quite large here. It may not be that large. It might be a sort of a shrunken version of that. But let's just go in and have a look at the tick chart here. But in a nutshell, what we want to do is we want to see 1 and 2 and this all of the third wave. And that third wave may be finished just now as well, but we'll see. Wave 4 and wave 5 here, an A, B and a C here. A couple of other little points here. As we've been treating this 6,300 here as the minor group 1, and we're looking for tested support on top of that, we're also looking for the same here on this one here as well, the 6,330. That's subgroup 1. Okay, so that's what we're looking for support on, but not in the early stages. We'd want to find it later in this larger structure here. And the other point here too is the 6,350, which is the midpoint. You can use that to you can expect a correction there, but if you can get the tested support there, then you'll see further upside there. And I'm just drawing in group 2 here, which is 65, 72 roughly, and 80 here. So that's another place that you can, with the 72 here, another place to add on here as well, and also the 6,400. So, but we'll get to there later. So I'll just save that, and we'll go in and just have a look at this structure on the tick chart to get us up that direction there. So I can see from the low here that we've got 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5. So I'm happy with wave 1 and 2. I can't call this wave 3 here because it pulls back and overlaps wave 1 here. So we need to label this of the next smaller degree of wave 1 and 2 here, and then wave 3 here and wave 4 here. And perhaps this wave 5 is already done and dusted in here. Probably. So I'll just put that here. So this wave 4 here can pull back to the wave 4 of 1 lesser degree here. yeah, or the 38.2% retracement level from this low here to this high here, and that brings it, well, basically the same here. So that can be well, that's how that will play out as such. And I can't draw on this side of the tick chart, but I can use these, and then we'll be looking for wave 5 to move to the upside here. I'll just put it above the midpoint here, and then an A and a B and a C correction from here. So let's just get this in perspective here. I mean, the wave 2 AB should be sharp and swift, and then a move to the upside. So it might be just a sort of a sharp move down. But also too, from this low here to this high here, we would be looking at a 50-60% retracement level, just as a guide stick, which basically brings us into this space here. Yeah, so that's what we're looking at. So wave 4 here, wave 5 struggling up here, then an A and a B and a C back here, and then moving up from there. I could probably even tighten that up here. That would probably... I just don't want to make it look too big and you end up, getting the wrong sort of image in your mind. Because wave 2's here are quite swift and sharp. And it has pulled back to the wave 4 with one lesser degree here. So, it may not come all the way down here. That's the thing as well. But what you kind of want to do is see that pattern, that fifth wave finish, and then some sort of sharp move down, and then start to look for support on top of 6,330, and look to add on top of 50 and build in that way. I mean, the current move up here, this is where we've got to be a little bit. I can't get that across there any further than that. So the I forgot what I was going to say now. Yeah, I mean, the main thing here to understand is that the move up through here is just in 3 waves so far, so it could be corrective. It hasn't taken this high out here, and it could be counted as an A wave and a B wave, and then 5 waves for the C wave here. Okay, so that's something that we need to consider at that point, but we have seen the US markets move up reasonably strong, 0.8%, so we should see a stronger sort of opening with this. So I'm just going to save that and move on to the other Asian markets, and starting with China. So we're pretty much on track here. I was looking at from wave 4 top here, looking down as wave 1 and 2, and wave 3 here. We've been working through the ABC for wave 4. We've had this down here as wave 1. I mean, I could have this as a mistake too. We may end up having just wave 1 in here and wave 2 here, and then this is wave 3 and 4 here, and then a quick drop for 5 here. I'm not quite sure, but I do want to bring the stop down to break even under our entry here with this one here. But otherwise, we'll look at this as wave 1 and 2 here, and all of the third wave here, the fourth wave and the fifth wave to move down here. I'm a little bit unsure, but let's just get the book square on this one here, and we don't need to think about being long here unless the market becomes support on 11,500, or we can see that this structure here in 5 waves is clearly finished, and we have 5 waves to the upside on this move here, and then we've got to pull back. Then we can look to move into it, but we don't want to move in early on that. And this is the same for the Hang Seng as well. A slightly different picture here. If China here, we've got 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 here, but with this market here, it works out a little bit differently here. I suppose I could call this wave 1 and 2 and 3 here, and then 4 here, and then 5 down here. That's possible. I could also call this wave 4 over here in terms of an A and a B and a C and a D and an E wave over here for wave 4, and still have this move down. I don't know, so I'm just taking a trader's point of view. I want to get this trade. We had the stop above here. We want to bring it down under here. I kind of want to have it this here above this low here as well, sort of above that. So I think this can still have another little move up here. I was just looking at this little structure here. This is 1 and 2 here and 3 here, but more importantly, this move back down here is in 3 waves here. So that means that that top can be taken out here. So if you wanted to, you could also bring this stop here down into this space on top of this one here if you wanted to. I'll just lighten that out here a little bit here, just to sort of give that a little bit of thought there. I mean, we're there already. The main trend is down, but the US markets are up, so we may see this move up a little bit higher. So if you want to lock that in, well, then that's the time to do it. The Nikkei here, sorry, just getting this in here. So on the daily chart here, my main count was calling wave 3 here and wave 4 in here, and looking at this as wave 1 here, an A and a B and a C for wave 2 here. This move up here, I can squeeze 5 waves out of it, but it looks like 3 waves, so I'm a little bit unsure about that. And also too, the wave 2 that I got here is rather big and awkward for such a small wave 1. Yeah, I don't really know. I mean, I don't know much about this particular market as such, a little bit like the Italy market that we've sort of pulled on board as well. So all the little idiosyncrasies I'm not familiar with, but I've got to kind of go with the rules. So I'll stay with this here in terms of this particular structure of wave 1 here, ABC for 2 here, wave 1 here, ABC for 2 here. But I have to say it doesn't have the right look or feel about this. And if we were on group 1 here, top number 3, where we see a 3, it's the top of group 1. So if we get support on this level, then we'll go to the 5 here. So obviously we don't have that yet. And also too, this is all of group 1 here, so 1, 2 and 3 here. If the 2 here becomes the retested resistance, then it's likely that this market can be pulled down to the 20 here. So that's the other side of this. But it would need to be a good tested support. And a lot of times I see, well, I was going to say, I already see it here. A lot of the times I see it spike down to the 5, the halfway mark, and then recover from that point. But if it had locked under here, under the number two here, then we would be shorting at that stage there. So just on the 4-hour chart, just moving in and focusing on that. So if we do call this wave 1 here, then we've got an A wave here, ABC for B wave here, then 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 here for C of 2, and we're finished here. I know that we went short here, and maybe you got out here earlier down a major level here. It hasn't found support on this number here yet, which, I mean, we talk about number 3 up here being group 1 of minor degree. Then from 22,000, we've got a group 1 in here of 300 here, 22,300. If that finds support, then we're bullish from that point there as well. So we really need to look at this here. I need to confirm this is correct here in the first part. I need to see 5 waves up here, right? And if we get 5 waves up here, then we're going to have 3 waves back, and then we can move up again. So I'm suggesting that obviously this level here is the resistance here, the 22.5. So if we got support on that, then we can go long from there. Then it's going to chip away at the supply, the sellers within this space here. Just on the hourly chart here. So in that move coming up off the low here, I'm thinking of this as wave 1 and 2 here. Nice strong third wave here. 4th wave here, little A, B, and C here for the 4th wave, then 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 here to get to wave 1, and then an A and a B and a C wave here. So allow that to occur. We need to see that if we get 5 waves here, then we'll get this, and then we can go take our first long position on this space over here. So I've already got that there. So it's a long night, but 22.3 here, so we can build on here, and also too you want to be building on the next level here as well. So the 22.5 here, we want to be on support there, we want to be building on there. So we bring, if you're still short here, we can bring the stop down to this point here. You might even want to be, if you want to be a bit tactical, you might want to ride that fifth wave out and not get stopped out here, and then wait for this to pull back and into the 22 area here and bring in the stop on top of this one here, which is probably the right thing to do, but I'll leave that with you because you need to navigate that. And also the next one is India. So with India here, just coming back to the daily chart here, we'll just get our bearings. So what we're looking for here, as you may know, is wave 3 here, wave 4 here, wave 1 and 2 and 1 and 2, and then strong third wave here at 11,500, which is a medium level. It's halfway between 10,000 and 13,000, which is another bit of an odd number, but it's a Fibonacci number, and it's a major level, and this is a medium level here. So we're expecting a whole lot of corrections to play out here. Yeah, so it appears that we've got wave 3 in here, and we're expecting corrections across here. So just going into the 4-hour chart here now, we were looking at it like this here. It still hasn't pulled back to its. I'm a bit worried about this, because I take all this with a pinch of salt, because even though we've got our A and our B and our C wave here, we haven't pulled back to our 38.2% mark, which is much lower. So if I come back to minute wave 2 here, the blue one, put this up to the top of wave 3 here, so we should end up down here in this level, lower than where we are now. So but I also know too the normal progression of all of this too is that market moves up to the level, has a correction in 3 waves. Normally it comes back to the next level, the 300 here, and then we'll see 5 waves to push up through to the upside here. And then we would see the larger correction unfold here. So we've come back to our 3 waves here. I'm thinking that we'll get 5 waves up, and then we'll get a larger correction here. I don't want to call this, I mean, maybe this is wave 3 that we're looking at here in this instance here. I'm not quite sure, but it makes wave, how big's wave 1 here? Well, that's the distance of wave 1. We've got the extension in wave 3, so we've got wave 1 about that length there, so we'll just borrow that stick. So that should take us up into that space there then as a target area. And if I was going to draw a line up here, then it would be 650 here, that number there. Yeah, look, when we were coming to this space here, what I mentioned is that we're going to be seeing a lot of corrective patterns across here. We weren't going to trade this degree wave 4. You can trade this up here if you like. I won't call that a trade, but if you want to just go long there, that's fine. And if you're going to do that, then you'd need just to copy that segment there. You'd need to leave the stop under here somewhere for that. And yeah, you want to just sort of get up to this trend line area here somewhere. I'm okay to trade if we get 5 waves up here, then it's sort of okay to trade. We can trade from wave 3 here back to wave 4. We can trade a bit of that. We can trade either this leg or this leg for that. But our real trade is this. If all this is correct, then we want this one here, this wave 4 here, to trade the next level up from there. So yeah, I should just clean this up while I'm here. Okay, it would look a little bit like this here in this sort of picture here. So it's really over here that I'm interested in trading long from at this part here. Also too, as an A and a B and a C here, you see how quickly the C wave came down? it came down faster than wave A here. Normally it's the other way around, so this may not be correct. And also too, we've got to kind of think that the 38.2% retracement level is down here somewhere as well for this. So we need to be a little bit mindful of that. I'll just check what I've done on the hourly chart here for this. Yeah, I mean, I've put it in, but you can see how sharp it is. And we've only got 3 waves back up, and that would be back up to the 61.8% retracement level. So if you're going to go long here, then you really need to go long. Well, that looks even correct. That would be the setup there to go long, okay? Otherwise, this can just drop back down from here. And in fact, you could even short that from there as well. You could go on this side of the fence here. So wave one. I mean, you probably wouldn't get very far there, but I'll leave that there because we're looking at some upside here. So yeah, okay, I'll leave it at that. But that's just for day traders getting back up into this space here based on what the US is being stronger overnight. So we might see that. But I can see that this little move here is actually corrective. Maybe this is the A wave here, B wave here, and then a C wave just down to here. And then up from that point. But we don't have 5 waves up here, we only have 3 waves, and of course that would also be to the 61.8% correction there, so that can come into this space here. So going long or short here would be fine really. So I'll just copy that and put that there because we're not at our percentage point down, I mean, which is still down here, down at 11,100 here. So it can be, this could also be, if we just move this over here, this can be wave 1 here, wave 2 here of the C wave, then wave 3 down here. But the US markets are a bit strong, so still, it's just good to shoot the breeze on this thing. So if you see that weakness, then that's what we're looking at there. All right, thanks for tuning in. Much appreciated. Cheers.